I am out here working in my shop today, and I'm gonna get this CNC Plasma table up and running again. I built this thing over 10 years ago, and it has put in some work. I've cut out thousands of parts on this machine, and I've loved it, but after all those years and all that work, and a move from Idaho down to Utah, it's got some bumps and bruises. I built this machine because I was spending all day cutting out parts by hand, and then I would spend a couple minutes at the end of the day welding them all together. I realized that was a very slow process, and I wanted to do more of the welding, the fun part, and less of the cutting. So I started researching these CNC plasma tables. I spent about a year reading everything I could find on the internet, collecting parts, and then finally putting this thing together. And it turned out great. I was really happy, and I fired it up and cut out my first part, and it was this little horse that I made for my daughter. She's kept it all these years. Since then, I have used this a ton, and I have loved it, and I'm excited to get it up and running again. This machine is pretty big and heavy, so one of the first things I want to do is put these caster wheels on the bottom so I can move it around my shop. My shop's not that big, so it'll be really nice to be able to move it out of the way when I have a project going on. I need some 5/8" bolts so I can just screw them in where those leveling feet are. My bolt bin is looking pretty empty. Gonna need to run to the store and pick up 4 more of these. I should bolt these together because there's a bearing in here, but drilling these out would be a lot of extra work, so there we go. Oh yeah, that's not bad. Oh, I like that. This is gonna work good. This is not a bad height for me at all. It's a little higher, so it'll be harder to get big plates of steel on here, but I'm pretty tall, so it's nice to have a high table. Would you look at that? Oh yeah. Okay, put this anywhere I want it. There's a lot still to figure out, but this is progress. Okay, I'm done for today, but I will be back like that. All right, I'm back. I'm working on the CNC Plasma table again, and now that this table is mobile, I can really walk around it and inspect it good. So I've got a lot to check out here. It looks like it's very dirty and needs cleaning, and there's a few things that are bent and broken I've got to fix. I think if I fix the one motor on this side, I can get the table moving back and forth and see what else needs to be done. All of the electrical is going to have to get resorted out and hooked back into the computer and the control panel. I haven't even opened that up or turned it on for like a year. So I want to get the mechanical done first, and then I'll dive into the electrical. All this road spray I should just be able to scrape off. It's not really a problem. It's just kind of a mess. So we'll scrape it down. As long as it didn't get into any of these switches, I should be fine. These rails need to get cleaned up really good. These are precision ground linear slide rails. And I hate to see rust on them, but they do clean up really good if I just use a little bit of Scotch-Brite. There's tons of rust in the tables. Over here, there's like all the cutouts, leftover pieces of metal from letters or whatever I was working on before. So all those drops and stuff have collected in here, and I need to clean that out. That's cleaning up pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna pull this gantry off the table a little bit so it's hanging over the edge here. That'll allow me to bend this back into position. And then I need to reinforce these welds. They were really just tacks, just 2 little tacks. So this is what has to come back together here. I need to bend it far enough that it'll stay put. All right, I think that'll do it. This is nice and square in here. I'm just gonna weld this in very lightly, maybe just a couple more tacks. Okay, that should be plenty. I just want the minimal amount I can do to keep it from warping. These are tensioners right here that I built years ago that hold the gear up into the rack. They're pretty stiff. I don't know that they're doing any tensioning anymore. There we go. These little gears are engaging. Okay, that's on. At the other end of the table, there's limit switches so that this doesn't travel at different speeds. There's a motor on this side and a motor on this side. And if they go out of alignment, they can drive down to the end of the table and the limit switches will home them or zero them out. So they're square this way and this way. I'm just gonna put a little bit of PB Blaster on these so that I can free these springs up and get them moving again. So I'm just gonna put some hand tension on there to pull that gear up into the rack. So I'll do the same thing right in here. All right, let's see if this will roll. Oh yeah, that's working. Probably need to lube all these bearings a little bit. How's it going? Welcome to the shop.
I just got permanent jewelry.
Look at that. What's permanent jewelry mean?
It means that there's no clasp. It's like welded together.
Oh, they weld?
She actually uses like...
Welded?
She uses kind of like a soldering iron.
Oh,
but it's like, I had to look
she
away.
She solders it
really
onto
bright.
your wrist? We got to check this out.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Where did she weld?
I don't know.
You can't even tell?
You can't even tell.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Soldered bracelet.
What are you working on?
So I've cleaned all the rails. I fixed that one bent drive. And then I'm going to move on to the electrical.
Well, good luck. We're leaving
Okay.
for St. George.
Oh, have fun. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get a little grease up inside these bearings. I don't know if I can, but I'm going to try. All right, the mechanical is all done on this thing. It just needs some brains, and then it will be alive. It's alive! This right here is just a regular Windows computer that I built years ago to run this plasma table. I leave the side open all the time so the airflow's good, and so I can change stuff out. To cut out a part, there are 3 pieces of software you're gonna have to run. The first one is your drawing software. You gotta make the part. The second one is something to lay out all of those parts on a sheet and then generate what's called G-code. The third piece of software you need is something to run that G-code. So this will run that G-code file and it sends all the information over to this machine over here. This box takes the signal sent from this and amplifies it so it can drive all those motors, telling them to turn left and right. It has micro-stepping capabilities so your parts don't come out looking like an Etch-a-Sketch machine drew them. They come out with nice, round, smooth arcs. Someday I'd like to get all of this mounted to the table so when I roll it around it moves together, but right now I just have it set up on a card table. All right, I'm gonna sort all this out and I'll come back.
3 hours later.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's coming up. All right, that's a good sign. I've got to run all the wires to the stepper motors and all the wires to the limit switches, and then I think I'm ready to go. That's Z. That's A. All right. All right, I don't have any of the limit switches hooked up yet, but I can't wait, so I'm gonna flip this thing on. I don't know if that worked. Oh yeah, I just heard it kick on. Okay, if I open this up, I should have motion on the machine. I just have to be careful not to run it off the end of the table. All right, here goes. Let's see if this moves. Reset. Oh yeah, we're working. I'll show you really quick what I'm doing. So up and down on my keyboard moves my Y-axis. Left and right moves my X. And page up and page down move the Z. Everything works. Okay, that's awesome. This machine is put back together. It is ready to cut, and I have realized there's a small problem. I have no sheet metal. I have no plate anywhere in my shop. I have got to go find a piece of steel, and I know where there is a whole bunch. I'm just pulling into Matt's yard. He won't mind if I take a few pieces of scrap steel. There should be plenty here. We'll go see what we can find. All right, I found the mother load here. We got a whole rack of steel. I'm gonna pick out a good piece and head back to my shop. All right, I'm back at my shop. I've got a piece of steel on the table here. I've got a file loaded in the computer ready to go. I think everything is up and running. I am ready to make my first cut. And I have found the old file that I cut of that original horse I gave to my daughter, and I'm gonna cut it out again. Okay, I did it. I got a horse. This thing's up and running. I'm super excited because I have so many projects that I want to build with this machine. So this is a huge victory. Let's compare it to the old one. Here's my two horses. I need to clean this one up. They're a little different size. I didn't have the leg piece cut out or the tail piece cut out, but it's working. I am so excited that this machine is up and running again. I've got more to do. There's plenty of wire tucking and cleaning up to do. I got to figure out a better way to mount this computer. I'm glad that the thing is mobile now, so I can roll it out of the way when I need space in here, and I can pull it out and use it when I need to get work done. So I'm gonna go draw up a few more things to cut out. I'll be back and do those. I also wanna know what you guys think I should cut out with this, so make sure to write those ideas in the comment section.
I had a piece of vibranium out here that I was gonna make a shield out of. Looks like somebody took it.